Oh my gosh. It's happened, guys. They're doing it. And I know we've all feared this day, but they're actually doing it. And what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, is Disney firing their entire physical media division. Now, Australian fans and collectors have already seen this play out when they pulled out of the Australian market. There is a reason why Australian collectors who want to collect the MCU now must import from the US because they don't sell these sort of things in Australia anymore. The last release in Australia for a Marvel movie was, I believe, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I have the steelbook for that, because of course I do. But this is massive. Regardless of what everyone's trying to tell you and trying to spin it on YouTube, this is massive. This is the first step in the death of physical media. And I know that sounds doomsday-ish, but stick with me. Disney's home media releases and Disney's home cinema, home theater sort of setup thing, home, I don't know what they call it, home media or whatever it is. That was always a crown jewel of Disney. Bob Iger, when he came back, even said, like, I think he mentioned something about the physical media division is important because, when Disney Plus came along, people were still buying physical media and it was a big part of Disney's market throughout the years. Now, obviously, Disney Plus has taken off. More people subscribe to Disney Plus. But this is big. This is big. This is ground shaking for physical media. If Disney pull out of the market, and given what I believe is going to happen is they're going to start outsourcing it. You're going to see people like Arrow Video start getting things, you'll start getting these sort of releases, but with Arrow Video on Disney releases. I believe you will see Arrow Video get stuff. I believe you will see Criterion get stuff. Criterion licensing Disney movies and putting out Disney movies through the Criterion label. I think we're still going to get releases from Disney, but it's not going to be first-party Disney. Because what gives me a reason to think that is towards the end of Fox, and I think this might have been Warner Brothers that actually did this one, actually. Oh, it's MGM, so it's different. But we've seen precedents of this where the label can do things, but they'll also give the rights out to do a different release, like Kino Lorber, the Mad Max. People prefer the Kino Lorber to the actual Warner Brothers release. But this allows a chance for people to license it. But is Disney going to license it? This is going to be the big question. Because if you're trying to get people to Disney Plus, if that is the end goal of the Disney Corporation, then you're not going to want to put your precious IP on discs that can be ripped, that can be like pirated, You don't want that media out there other than on Disney Plus. And now, given with piracy, they can take the streams down, they can issue cease and desist, they can do all that to control unauthorized flows on the internet. But if you've got DVDs out there, and Blu-rays and 4Ks, it becomes much harder. People can rip them, people can trade them, people can find other ways to watch the movie that necessarily isn't piracy. But this has been coming for a while. I'm looking at the Disney section down here. It's all the way down the bottom. I keep it down the bottom with Pixar. What does this mean for Pixar? What does this mean for Toy Story and the new Toy Story when that comes out? Let me grab the Toy Stories here. What does it mean when the new Toy Story comes out? Will Toy Story be getting a physical media release? Will they be outsourcing it? Or is there still going to be a physical media division? Are they going to merge it in with like Paramount and say, hey, Paramount's going to handle our thing? Now, there is a precedent for that of Sony doing partnerships in television, TV's division, not the physical media division, but Sony have done a partnership with TCL. So we're seeing a lot of smart partnerships where, TCL will be making Sony televisions, but it's going to be done in a way that TCL are manufacturing, Sony are still involved, but it's a partnership. What are we going to see from this deal? And people might say, oh, Jamie, you're sounding doomsday-ish. You're sounding doomsday-ish. We're still going to see Disney releases. It's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to have the best it's ever been. 4K, everything, because 4K needs everything. Disney just pulled the trigger. They have literally pulled the trigger. I didn't think they were going to do it in the US. I will admit, I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger in the US. I know they pulled it in Australia already and killed the physical media division over here. I didn't think they had the guts to do it in the US because there's still a big, large market share. But this is telling. This is telling of the state of physical media. Disney pulling out of the market is the first step in others pulling out of the market. Because if Disney can do it, what stops Paramount or slash HBO slash everything now, because Warner Brothers is Paramount apparently. But what stops, you know, Fox is already in Disney. What does that mean for Fox releases? What does this mean for, what's the other big studios out there? Because Netflix don't even put their stuff out on physical media. Now, I know people have been saying, oh, you know, Stranger Things is getting a release. Netflix is saying they're doing physical media now. That's through Arrow Video. Sorry to tell you, that's through Arrow Video. They've outsourced that. That's not Netflix doing it first party. And this is telling. This is truly telling of the state of physical media. I mean, my gosh, how did we get to this point? I mean, let me look around my collection here. You have Sony, obviously. Sony is the other big player in this. Whether Sony abandons their physical media division, they've just sold or like did a partnership that means Sony's not going to necessarily be manufacturing their TVs alone anymore. Now you might say, oh, Sony TVs have been on the decline for a while. It doesn't matter. Sony have been such a reputable player in the TV division since the Trinitron. So Sony could be the next one to fall. Sony could come out and say tomorrow, hey, you know that move that Disney just made? We could save money that way, and let's outsource it to Arrow Video, and let's outsource it to Criterion. Let's sell off our things like we do in the streaming market, even though they have PlayStation Core or whatever it is, that Core app that they have, Sony Core. But Sony could do it next. And I think Sony's the next logical one to do it. It just makes sense. Paramount, I think, will fight because there's a market there. I think Paramount necessarily do want their movies out on physical media. I think it helps people. But what happens when Paramount say, hey, you know how people are paying for that Sonic the Hedgehog #4 whenever that comes out? You know how they're paying for Sonic the Hedgehog? And they're buying that physical media release? We want them as a subscriber. Every time they want to watch Sonic, we want them back on our streaming service. We want them to watch Paramount Plus. We want them to watch HBO Max. We want them to watch whatever Warner Brothers does or whatever other services they're getting. They're getting HBO and so on. This is big. And I've seen people trying to downplay it, saying, oh, this doesn't mean physical media is dying. No, this doesn't mean physical media is dying. This is no need to worry. No need to sound the alarm yet. Nothing to worry about here. No worries. It sounds like corporate spin to me, or people in denial. Now, given some of these YouTubers, the larger ones, do have incentive to say, hey, this doesn't mean anything, because they believe they have their contacts in things. And I'm not knocking, it's not Jeff I'm referring to, because I know people are going to say, oh, you're referring to Jeff. I'm not referring to Jeff. I'm referring to other YouTubers who are larger in the space, but say, hey, I've got contacts at Disney, and they've said, oh, they're going to be selling it to Criterion or whatever. No need to worry. No need to worry. But what this means, and I'll tell you why it sounds like denial, if Disney are manufacturing and they've just fired their entire physical media division, that means that A, there's no one working in their plants manufacturing the DVDs or Blu-rays or everything anymore, meaning, hey, production stops, meaning, hey, that factory goes offline. The factory gets sold, the property can be sold. This is how commerce works, you know, this is how economies work. You sell the asset, you move it on. You sell the machines. Hey, Criterion might want to buy this factory. Maybe they want the thing as it is. Maybe we try to sell it to Criterion or Arrow Video or whatever. Hey, who wants to make an offer on this factory? The old Disney factory. I know people are saying that, hey, they've heard through their contacts, nothing to see here. But there's so much to see here. Look what happened in Australia. This happened in my country. This happened in Australia. I'm going to grab the Australian flag because I'm talking about Australia. Let's put the Australian flag where it can be seen, right here. Let's put it at the top so it can hang a bit. We know we like a nice Australian flag in the back, so we know we're watching an Australian channel. Look what happened in Australia with Disney physical media. It happened here already. It happened in Australia. And now, as I've mentioned, to get Disney releases in Australia, we need to import this stuff. We need to import this stuff into Australia. We need to import Deadpool and Wolverine. We need to import Captain America. We need to import this stuff. And what happens if they say, hey, you know, maybe Great Britain's the last one in the world. Maybe that's the last physical media division in the world. Maybe we outsource to Arrow Video. What happens when they say, hey, maybe we should stop outsourcing our stuff? Maybe it's better to switch all that physical media division off across the board, and more people are funneled into Disney Plus. More people are funneled into Paramount. More people are funneled into wherever Sony sell their media to. This is the first step of what happens. This is the first step of physical media going away. And I know people have said, "Oh, Jamie, you're sounding doomsday-ish. This is not accurate. You're ranting, Jamie. What are you doing?" I'm not ranting. If there's anything I know, and I don't know all that much, I'm not like a know-it-all of anything, but if there's one thing I know about physical media, and I saw what happened in Australia, and you think it can't happen in America because what? America's exempt? Look what's happening in the world economy right now from shutting down one little waterfront. What happens if, consider Disney pulling out as the Strait of, is it Hormuz? Consider that as the physical media equivalent. Disney have always been the leaders in physical media, like they lead the way, as in Warner Brothers, as is Sony. And I feel like, oh, Universal is in there as well. I haven't mentioned Universal. Universal, I haven't forgot about you, even though I kind of half did. But Universal will continue manufacturing. But what happens next is, if that factory that manufactures 50% of all Blu-rays in Mexico or wherever, if they come out and look at Disney pulling out, and then it's like, hey, we just lost one of our main partnerships, we can't manufacture this without that Disney money. Either Universal steps up and Sony steps up and Paramount steps up, or that factory goes offline. It's simple economics. Simple economics. Not your contacts, not your, hey, my person in Disney said this means nothing. This is simple economics. If Disney aren't putting money into that factory, if they aren't getting money for releases to manufacture this stuff, they can't pay their staff. And a lot of the physical media division of Disney have been let off, been dismissed. Fired. That's a nice way to say fired. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Because I want to add Secret Wars to my collection. I want to add, what is it, Doomsday. I want to add the next Deadpool movie. I'm probably going to stop when they reboot it. I'll probably have my MCU as a nice little contained collection up to the Secret Wars. But I want to add Spider-Man to it, even though Spider-Man is Sony. What happens with this sort of thing? You know, that's a questionable aspect. I think we're still going to get 4K in some view. I think we're still going to see Disney releases on 4K in some perspective. I can look down here and I can't really see much crossover. But I could see, didn't they do, give me a second. There may be a precedent for this already. Because I know WALL-E, I've got the one that came straight from Disney. But I know they did a partnership with someone. Who was it? It was like Arrow Video or something. And they put WALL-E out again. So maybe we start seeing that. But those manufacturing presses are not going to run themselves. If there's not Disney money going into them, as I try to find my breath, if there's not Disney money going into this, where's the money coming from to pay that staff? Even if it's in Mexico, I don't care if it's in Mexico, how are they going to pay people? How are they going to keep that manufacturing going? Because it's not just a pay the staff thing. You've got to pay for production of discs, importing from probably China or whatever, wherever they manufacture discs. You've got to pay for printing. You've got to pay for the nice paper, the slicks, because people forget that paper is actually a part of the production as well. If you get the nice RoboCop thing, look at what goes into this plastic case. That's a plastic case. You got a plastic case. You got the disc that needs to be manufactured. You got the little insert if people still do inserts. But you got the disc. You've got the what's that? Is that a free trial? Activate your free trial now, whatever. You've got your slick, what's called a slick. That's the little paper, and it's better quality than most things. Hey, I just recognized there's a print behind there. I didn't even know there was a little print behind there. I have 2 different designs of paper. There you go. Damn, I should really put that in a clear case. That's actually really nice. Why do they put it that way in a 4K case? Because you can't really see it inside. Either way, I think there is a precedent here. Oh, there's a nice little thing on the back of that too. But you know what I'm saying? It's not just a pay the staff thing. To do the press, you've got like 4 different press running. You've got the one that prints the high quality slicks. You've got the ones that have the ink for the discs. The ink that goes on the discs right there. The ink that has to go on them. That's a nice disc. That's a really nice disc. You know, the ink that goes on them, that's got to be paid for as well. And they've just lost one of their biggest partners. I know people are saying my contacts are telling me, what's that there? Something's really catching my eye. I know people are saying my contacts are telling me this means nothing for Disney, and it's not Jeff. I'm not referring to Jeff. I like Jeff's videos. I need to watch what he said about it, but I know Jeff does good videos, films at home. He does good videos. But I'm referring to other people in the space. I'm not going to mention the channels, but I have watched a couple of videos where they said, oh, my contacts in the media industry mean that this means nothing. The physical media's been going away forever. Actually, that probably gives away who I'm referring to. I do still love watching that channel. I'm not going to refer to it, but yeah. This is bad. This is really bad for physical media. Very, very bad. It happened in Australia. It's already happened here. Now it's happening in the US. You want to look at what it looks like when Disney pull out of the physical media division? Look what's happened in Australia. Look at the Australian market. It's already happened in Australia. Look at Australia. And then look what's going to happen in the US. Because that's going to happen now in the US. What happened in Australia is going to happen in the US. It'll happen. It's already happening. I know I didn't plan to make a video today, but this has got me hot. Because it's evident now. It's evident that physical media 4K is not the future. We think it's the future because it's the high-end format, but it's not the future to these companies. And I've been saying it for the longest time. What happens if Disney pulls out in the US? What happens if Paramount say, hey, no more physical media? This is the danger of monopolies. Because now, you're not just not getting Disney releases, you're not getting Star Wars, you're not getting Paramount, Pixar, you're not getting Pixar, you're not getting 20th Century, you're not getting, what else do they own? They own half the industry. And then what happens if Paramount does the same thing? You're not getting Warner Brothers, you're not getting HBO, you're not getting Paramount. This is the danger of monopolies. And Disney just pulled the trigger on something that I think a lot of us as collectors, we're uncertain about. We don't know what this looks like. But if people are saying, if YouTubers are saying, hey, my contacts in Disney said nothing to worry about here, I just picture, every time I hear that now, I just picture Officer Bar Brady in, like, South Park saying, sorry guys, nothing to see here. Like, you know, nothing to see here, move along. Like, you know, I just picture Officer Bar Brady, you know. Is Bar Brady on one of these? I think, is he on the cover of one of these? I'll grab Officer Bar Brady and end on that, if I can find Officer Bar Brady. Or better yet, what if I get the glasses and we'll do like a, stay on here and I'll keep talking to you. I'm going to find glasses and we'll do the Officer Bar Brady thing. We'll do Officer Bar Brady and we'll do, that's what we'll finish on. But do you understand what I'm saying? This is a bad precedent. It's a very bad precedent. I'll grab the Officer Bar Brady kind of dark glasses. But you know, this is bad for the industry. Disney pulling out mean a lot. And I'll grab my Michael Jackson kind of hat thing here. Move along, sir. We'll grab this hat. We'll do like a Blues Brother sort of look. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. We'll do it like that, pointing at this flag. That's our thumbnail right there, I reckon. That's our thumbnail, but let's grab some Disney releases as well. We'll grab Snow White, or what's a more recognizable Disney movie? Snow White or The Lion King? I would say to my generation it's The Lion King. I could do both, but I like getting the thumbnails as part of the video. We'll grab both of them. We'll do it like this. That's the thumbnail, guys. That's the thumbnail. They've already done it in Australia. So we'll put it in front of the Australian flag. That's an iconic thumbnail right there. I don't care what anyone says. How long can I hold this before it makes you uncomfortable? I don't know. That's so stupid. I don't know. But am I making sense? I'll chuckle like Michael Jackson. And I just landed on the floor. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Disney, this is a shock. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll put a couple end screens. If you like this video, like, subscribe, drop a comment. I'll put a couple of end screens as they're on screen already. Follow my Instagram and TikTok, Jamie Toomey Presents. Go follow my gaming channel. It's starting to blow up in subscribers and following and numbers. And also follow my sports channel, Jamie Toomey Sport. And I'll catch you in the next one. Save physical media.